All my life I had to fight and heavily disagree with my friends for saying Offset is the best Migo. Don't make me look stupid. I feel kind of on the fence emotionally about entering this album because it's like I know what to expect, but then I don't. They're missing a key piece to the puzzle they put together for almost a decade. Now, we all know at the beginning stages of their career, Offset wasn't always in the picture, being left off songs and even entire mixtapes because he was locked up. But it just feels different now because it really seems like there's some heavy disdain between the group. And being that they've been together for years, explaining in length and confidence of why they'll never break up, it just feels funny only seeing Quavo and Takeoff. And I'm glad they changed the name too, because Unconfused wasn't it. I'm sorry. I don't care how cool they tried to make that scene. I just hope it doesn't affect the music like I think it will, because like I said, they've been together for so long. It's kind of like a muscle memory for them to be on a song as a trio, even though they've done individual things in the past, or you know, they've been interchangeable on records before. It's different coming into this as a full project without their third member. And the fact that the only solo project I liked from them was Offset's has me even more worried. The only thing I think that's gonna push these two to create something undeniably great is to prove people like me wrong, who thinks that them as a trio gives them the best outcome to do something special. Even though I hated Culture 3. I think I only heard one track on here so far, and that's Hotel Lobby. We got 18 tracks. Let's go. Quavo and Takeoff. Only built for Infinity Links. Shout out Raekwon. Track 1, 2 Infinity Links.
An Infinity Link. See, that's the strongest link in the world.
Oh, yeah.
I promise to always rep my city, especially where I'm from. Wanna come back to the hood and put you. I never wanna see the day I lose my bro to one. Before the cake, before the stage, we split up honey bun. And if it weren't for me,
all right, this already giving me like old Migos mixtape vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Offset wasn't always in the picture. I mean, the song just started. Takeoff didn't even come on yet, but you know, that's just me pointing out that, you know, this sound like old Migos right here.
Take a brick, make a bill in this bitch. 530 with a band on phone. Mama E on my grandma's son.
Come on, Takeoff. Come on, Takeoff. Come on.
I'm the first one to say QC. I ain't never gonna tell my tale. Nah, I'm a nigga for the north, for real. Please don't. I know niggas cry, but they get active on that drill. I praise it down, got blessed, and look at what God did. Infinity.
God did. Yes, he did. Sample was crazy. You know Quavo had something to do with that production, because we all know how creative Quavo can get in the studio with production and with melodies. I'm expecting to hear Quavo's handprints all over this. This is your chance, Quavo. This is your chance to make up for Honcho. Listen, I know I'm just hopping on the bandwagon when I say this, but Takeoff's flow is just so addictive. It doesn't even matter what he's saying. His flow just sticks to the beat like glue. Solid intro though. Track 2, Tony Stark's. I feel like I'm in space. Oh yeah, Iron Man, Tony Stark. Okay.
While it changed like a rock star.
God damn.
They keep asking questions like they know why.
See, the beat drop. You had me at the beat drop. Then the bar though. Like, why?
Put a hole in your chest, it's Tony Stark. That's Tony. 2 I'm in my color, and that's Noah's Ark.
Wait, I heard that before.
Don't let no nigga try you what my mama told me. She gon' lick it like she Chloe. She might
Ain't no fuck your bitch, cause you out of budget.
I bought me a watch and bought one for my brody.
Fuck nigga can't hold me. Bought a watch playing, then I frozen. Stand 10 toes, I'm an OG.
This beat is like, it's like building up throughout the song.
Got all my jewelry in my soul, I never sold it. Can't do that. While it changed like bread, outside sprinkled like a Pop-Tart. They keep asking questions like they know.
I really like the beat on that one, but that's about it. I feel like the production was my main focus. Both of their rapping on the track wasn't necessarily bad, but it was just a little too slow for me. I felt like their flow wasn't really matching with the tempo of the production. And then that hook, man, oh my God, like that shit was horrible. Track 3 is Hotel Lobby. I already heard that, but I gotta play that song again because that shit was hard.
Took a look, switched it with the chill out. Now she say she said 3D.
Some carrots, some pointers, all these commas, I want fun. Pay me that stick, nigga make one wrong move, just pop it.
Track number 4, Bars in the Captions.
Welcome to Atlanta, baby, it's bigger than magic. Where young niggas pull up Lambo trucks and steal traffic. Now every time they see the huncho, they like shout it half. We 2 player with the ball, baby, we all pass.
I don't know how I feel about this. And it's not just Migos, man. Well, Quavo and Takeoff. I mean, I can't say Migos anymore because it's just these two. But it always kills me when y'all want to sample the ones, man. Like, you can't sample the ones and then let me play it first.
Put a rollie on this wrist that I was cooking some grounds with. Think I'm bullshit. Come down to the city and it's lit.
We are creatures that come from another planet. The rocket ship take off, I'm about to land it. A lot of men, your friends be telling me that you telling them about the D. You riding your tank on E, so how you drive?
I do like the idea of using that sample, but I don't know if it was executed in the best way possible because, I mean, it's a classic, man. It's a classic. Like I said, I like the idea, but I don't necessarily like that they did it, if it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It's a nice thought, but I don't know if I would actually put it on wax. I do see the parallel between the Outkast cover and using the Outkast sample. I think that's pretty cool. I ain't gonna lie. It's pretty cool. The fact that they even got that shit cleared is incredible to me. So, you know, I'm hands off on this one. I don't necessarily like the track, but, you know, I'm fine with it. It's cool, I guess. Track 5, See About It, featuring Mustard. I need something, Quavo. Come on, Quavo.
Bad with the control of the stripper. Fuck it up, bitch. Finna feed all this dick. Left cheek, right cheek, down on mama thick. Is it wet? Skeet, let me see about it. Like a coupe, skirt, she got a new body. Say they won't smoke till we see about it. Smoke. I took a nigga home, come and see about it.
Oh.
I got the bitch, so
Yeah. This is that.
in the road, she done sucked out my soul. Get your money, that's a bad bitch code. G6 make a geek bitch a freak bitch.
Is it wet? Skeet, let me see about it. Like a coupe, skirt, she got a new with me, come and see about it. Niggas say they won't smoke till we see about it. I took a nigga home, come and see about it. Pussy wet, dripping, leaking out of pants. Bad bitch, she done came up from that.
That's what I'm talking about. All I'm gonna say about that track is that me being a strip club fanatic myself, not at this current moment in time, but, you know, when I first turned 21, I was definitely in there. This is going to be a part of that culture. I'm typically not a big fan of Mustard's overall production, but whenever he goes outside his mainstream beat making or LA based style production, I like it a lot. I find myself liking a lot of those beats from him. Surprisingly, that's the first track that got me out of my seat even a little bit so far. You know what I'm saying? So far, that's the only track that really made me move. Track 6, To The Bone, featuring NBA Youngboy. Wait, this has the same feeling of the last track they did together. What was it? Needed. It has that similar bass line to it.
I'm standing on business and she's standing on mine. A little bit right here so bad. Come on, wake up, both of us gotta get bags in the morning. Wake up, little bit she bad, she working at honest. I gave her a sack full of money, she brought the shit back and it came with something. Nigga ain't seen no money. Fresh out the trap, we stepping and gunning. Meet me at Toga, meet me at Bull. Nigga won't smoke a beef, we coming. I'm standing on business and she's standing on
Okay.
mine. A little bit right here so bad.
Okay.
She know she can't get a young nigga from out of the door. That one ain't working no more. Money, she on it. She flash, I block her from my phone. Bitch, make sure that her fingers be glistening. Diamonds I'm flirting on it. Whenever I hit, she let me stick it. Fucking on dead ass out of the day. I come and I call that, leaving my riches. Fucking on business. No, I'm not alone, cause I came up with an F and N in this bitch. Treat it like Ray J. How? She wanna talk to the kids, make one wish. Why? I'm in my zone, I'm back to the bone. I won't make it home tonight. No.
To me, I think people still need to put respect on Quavo's name as a hook god because that is what he is. That's what makes a lot of these tracks. Not on this album in particular, but just in general. Even on this track specifically, like, it seemed like the verses weren't really doing anything for me as the song was going on. But whenever Quavo's hook came in and broke everything up, it sounded that much better. Like, that's what saved the song for me. I feel like NBA Youngboy didn't really give him anything special as far as a verse. Like I said, it just sounded very similar to the song that they did before. I think it was called Needed, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, none of their verses really did anything for me on this track right here. It's pretty much Quavo's hook that I was in tune with. Track 7, Not Out. Yeah. Oh, this drop about to be crazy.
What we doing? Said let's pop out. Pop out. Running without that money on me. I feel like I'm Mike. I got a suitcase with 200 for emergency. Hit the sex retreat. Bitches running around geek. I ain't been home in weeks. She left, she did me a favor. Now I done turned to a beast. I been getting so much you could, so this bitch told me she want me. No work hard for this shit. We took the gang out the hood to Hollywood.
It's not a hood nigga, don't touch it. Don't touch that. In the up party, I'm clutching. If a nigga look wrong, then I'm busting. Niggas rather go scam and spin. Young nigga rather go rap and trend. Young nigga rather go do a drill.
I can't tell you how much money we got. I can't.
See, this is the first track right here where I listen to it and I say, damn, like this really needs Offset. It's just too many points in the track where nothing's happening and the beat is carrying them throughout. And I'm not saying if Offset was on this track, he could have necessarily saved it, but it's just something more to add to it. This song right here is what I would categorize as a boring Migos record or a boring Quavo and Takeoff record because, like I said, there's not really much happening within the song. Track 8, Chocolate, featuring Thug and Gunna.
For the little shit that you talking about, my wrist worth a billion been taken out. For the little bitch, we gon' take her down. We locking in, hustling, your stuff, your pockets in. Jet with no passengers flying in. Yeah. You know the players like the Redskins. I'm fucking all clean blue bitches. You know I touch a bitch if I'm a spinach. She got a drop on top and she'll mix it.
It's ice on both hands, put them up, no violence. Fire, it's the hand Cyrus. It wasn't go viral.
Shit that you talking about, my wrist worth a billion been taken out. For the little bitch, we gon' take her down.
I popped out the crib with your little ditty daughter. I fucked in that pussy love her on the water. The Bentley, the Rari, I rock with the bands. I'll go rolling with all white tan. My son got the same right now. Peanut butter wrist, fucking niggas sand. Check it out the streets, serving niggas strand. Look at my nigga from pan. Look at that space, 200 on sedan. 500 on blue jean pants. DRIP dripping Louis V Vans. Looking at me like she wanna advance. I tell one more pill and the rest will I hand. Yeah, wanna get me cause I'm in LA.
Ever since I've been listening to Thug and Gunna, I've noticed that if you put a guitar behind their vocals, it's just unbeatable. It's impossible not to listen to it over and over and over again. And, you know, this is another example of that. I take no issue with the fact that Thug and Gunna bodied them two on here because this is the exact song I was sent to them because this is their bag. This isn't necessarily Quavo and Takeoff's bag. I hate that I gotta keep saying Quavo and Takeoff. That's my favorite. Track 9, 230. And it's 230 right now. Well, 234 to be exact.
They all like who's I put them on the back of your cool money. Running up, now we in the cockpit. Look at my shirt, collab leaks. Traffic, I just bought that little bag from Paris. They don't got this.
With a different route, the bitch ain't fucking kick him out. Wouldn't do shit for the clout. Who wanna smoke? Pick him out. Girl said for a walk in the gig, die from court, fill it up full of coke.
Okay, Takeoff. This, come on, man. Strings are a cheat code. You know, it kind of blows me that everybody knows almost all the cheat codes in music now. Whenever you end your record off with strings, you know I'm gonna fall in love with it. I think the standout part of that record for me was the chorus. I like how Quavo started it off and then Takeoff went outside of what he usually does, and you know, he put a little bit of auto-tune on his voice and carried the hook on the back end of the record. See, that's good chemistry. That's the chemistry I've been looking for throughout this whole entire album. Not saying they haven't had chemistry up to this point, but, you know, I think this one showcased their chemistry the most on this project so far. Because on this record, up to this point, it doesn't really seem like they were in the studio together while creating these records. You can kind of tell by their verses. It's kind of like an insert verse kind of deal throughout all of these records right here. So they don't really sound that blended together. They don't really sound that much in cahoots on these songs. If that's even a word. I feel like I heard that on ESPN or some shit. Track 10, Look at This. So they ended their last track with strings and they're starting this track with strings. Kill me now so they can play this at my funeral.
I got 3 on the neck, 2 on the wrist, 3 on the neck, 2 on the wrist. And my diamonds got insurance, they gon' stick. Look at it, kick. Now they forfeit it, get kicked.
Red, I'm the time keep running, don't know what to do with the shit. No, cars and hoes, no, you know we ain't new to this shit. Some niggas about to be famous, but you see me, I was made for this. Me, look at this.
Gang gonna spin and spree like a trail, yeah. How much your drip cost? 3 on the neck, 2 on the wrist, and what?
Ooh, that's a bar. That's a bar, Quay. Okay.
Check me, look at this. I got 3 on the
Damn,
3 on the neck.
this shit hard.
Insurance is no
Geico trash, by the way, too. Geico's out. Fucking horrible. See, I always love when I get that undeniably great energy from Migos. You know what I'm saying? I kind of hate the more laid back tracks from them. I like the more upbeat, you know, we in the club, we gonna hear it everywhere type Migos. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what this track was. I feel like when they exude this type of energy on the track where it sounds like they're actually into what they're doing and they actually want to make the song, I feel like this is where they are at their best. The beat was crazy. I like how the last track ended with strings and then this track started with strings. I think that was a nice little sequence right there. I feel like once I hear the album in full again, I'm actually respect that sequence a little bit more. The chemistry, man, the togetherness. Like it sounded like these last two tracks was created in the exact same day. Track 11, Mixie featuring Summer Walker. Nah, I'm looking forward to this one. What is this?
How you count your blessings and don't mention me? How you count your blessings?
How you count your blessings but don't mention me? Who?
If you want each other, I won't blame you. Won't blame. Count your blessings and don't mention me.
He said it again.
When the love is all gone, then it's for the streets. Ooh.
Try to recover when niggas ain't shit in the law. It's another night, I was feeling patrol. It's another night, turn my heart in the crowd.
These matching Van Cleef pieces. We gon' get nasty, talk greasy when we know we don't mean it. To my contacts, pick your number, press a button and delete all. Cause this messy mixy shit done got too high for my reach. To mine, and when you say it's sober, we never finish. That's my shit, that's my bag of bitch. Put that shit on, she lit.
How you gonna act like there ain't no blessing when I taught you all the lessons?
That song was okay. It definitely wasn't what I was expecting as far as sound is concerned. I knew the content was going to be somewhat compatible to, you know, what Summer Walker brings to the table as far as that, because well, else would they get her on a song? I don't know. It just felt so dead to me. It didn't really seem like there was much personality put into it. It just sounded like they wanted to create somewhat of a love track and throw Summer Walker on it. Summer Walker's performance, I feel like, wasn't even that memorable in my opinion. I felt like it was just there. It didn't really move me. Don't get me wrong. Quavo had some lines that gave me cause to pause for a second because they really did cut deep to a certain extent. Not too deep, though. It wasn't that serious. I liked Takeoff's verse at the latter end of the record, but I think it came a little bit too late for it to save the song and as a whole. So I'm not going to go back to it. Track 12, Messy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They thought we forgot.
Forgot what?
Who the fuck them broke boys with? Get out my section. Get out my section. Just pull the muscle. God damn, too much flex. That tissue, God bless them. Wipe it. I dropped the 4 perp. I call that shit Chris Rebel. Drink. I know you niggas wanna be me, but it's level. Wanna know my stats, how much I got, but I ain't gon' tell them. Push it, push it.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. Takeoff been kind of carrying Quavo. Takeoff flow, man. I don't know, man. Like, it's just something about it, man. It's just something about it that's kind of making these songs a little bit more interesting.
Got no motion, you can't stand up in my session. Yeah. I said Carisha, please, cause she too messy. You wanted the game, you should've just said it. We would've blessed it. Should've just said it. Now shit got messy. Smoking exotic shit with an exotic bitch. Exotic.
Oh.
Messy. Who the fuck them broke boys with? Get out my section.
We don't do the messy shit. Kick the messy bitches out the section. Get the fuck away from me. Song was cool as a whole, but forgettable. Track 13, Nothing Changed. DJ Durrell!
Got all eyes on my game. 100,000 kiss the rain. Foreign exchange to change. The band I'm just chopping the chickens and now I'm on top of the city. Designer mismatching, yeah. The money do backflips, yeah. Off my glasses, yeah. The status. Now she looking like an actress, yeah. On 100 on my people and I cannot go out the saddest. I keep the fire like a dragon. Stacking up loose change and I turn the shit to a mansion. We on your head like a bang. All double laws, no rain. Bitch, they came with a name.
Foreign exchange to chain. Fame came with the chain. When you step foot in that field, make sure you strapping, make sure you got aim. My niggas, they shooting to live. I see some niggas, they shooting for fame.
Yo, Takeoff is eating. Takeoff eating.
And shit. That's how them boys get framed. I've been the same legit, little bitch. When they see me, they say, don't know the chain with the chain.
You got a great hook by Quavo, and then you got a great verse by Takeoff. Quavo's verse was forgettable, but who cares about that? I don't care about Quavo's verses. I never did. I never did. Probably back to the Bando days I did, but you know, ever since Culture One came out, it was more about the hooks for me from Quavo. And Takeoff and Offset would carry the verses. That's what made them so special. Quavo didn't even need to rap on some of the songs. Quavo just needs to have a hook that catches your attention and that's creative in a way where only Quavo can do it. And then Takeoff just comes on in the back end of the record and does what he does best. He finishes it off. He hits you with the right and then the left. Well, Quavo hits you with the left and then Takeoff hits you with the right. I think I said that right, and I'm kind of stuttering, but who cares? You know, you hear me. DJ Darrell, what the fuck, man? What was that ominous presence underneath the cut? Like, what was that? That shit was incredible. Track 14, Integration.
Infinity. YALL.
White shoes, white jeans, it's a white collar. All my diamonds white, but I'm not racist. White collar shirt, white shoes, white jeans, it's a white collar. White collar shirt, white shoes, white jeans, it's a white collar. All my diamonds white.
See, when I saw the title of this track, this is exactly what I was afraid of, and this is exactly what I predicted they were going to talk about on here. The way they parallel shit, man, is just crazy to me. You're naming the track Integration, but then all you're talking about is your white jewelry. This is just lazy writing, in my opinion. Because there's so many pathways you could have took while trying to address the title of this track. But you just chose to go back to jewelry. Oh, wow. I didn't think it could get any worse. Oh, I get it. So Quavo is talking about white. Takeoff's talking about black. Integration, huh? That's what we doing. Track 15, Big Stunner featuring Birdman. Just pop shit, Birdman. We don't want you to rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe Migos does, but I don't. I never wanted you to rap, even when Wayne forced you to rap. I like when you spit game, though, because nobody can deny that you're a legend in this industry. You're a legend in black culture, period. We love you, Birdman. You know, we don't love that you ripped off Wayne and all these other artists back in the day, but, you know, it's Birdman, you know, so we got to respect him to a certain extent, but I don't respect him enough to lie about his garbage rapping. I don't respect him that much. You know, I like this track, but it is kind of seeming a little repetitive at this point. Okay, I lied. I did hear 2 tracks off of this project. I did hear this Gucci Man joint, Us Versus Them, so I'm gonna skip that one. I like the track. Track 17, Hell Yeah.
Overnight back just to stay, hell yeah. Screaming like a white boy, wasted, hell yeah. It don't last long. Eat a whole family. I put tag along.
This bass hitting crazy.
More chicken than Nando's. I plucked the strings like banjo. I had a billboard just to make the racks glow. I the blues cash, yeah. All the strip the blues back, yeah.
President Jakku, it's a race from the Reagan. Assalamu alaikum, all my brothers find case. Out of money full of races, but the world still. Conversation turn to confrontation, many complications. Need a job, I do a favor, homie, here's your application. Got a blues in my pocket, that's a blue face, baby. Make a move for my pocket.
Yo, this beat, the beat carrying. The beat was crazy, man. It definitely created a pocket and space between what I've heard on this project so far, which, you know, it just drew me in a little bit more. No surprise, another addictive, catchy hook by Quavo that you can sing word for word without any thought put into it. Last song, track 18, Tools.
When you get that check, spray that cash. Brand new pants, yeah. He didn't take the stand, straight out the candy, straight to bands, yeah.
quick as a bar. I can make the bag arch. She like the pussy make the bag fart.
Spread that cash, yeah. She don't need no man. She got only fans.
Last track was alright. It wasn't anything too special as far as sonically. Again, it isn't anything that distinctly separates itself from this whole project as far as the beat is concerned or as far as the melodies are concerned. This was a solid project from Quavo and Takeoff. I like that they took this step to showcase that they can do an entire project with just the two of them and it be executed successfully. From what I heard on this album though, it isn't anything too different from what we've gotten from Migos throughout their entire career. It's just one less member. And I gotta give them credit because there wasn't too many tracks on this project where I thought I was missing Offset. There was a couple, but it wasn't too many. Takeoff with his verses and flow control, and Quavo with the melodies. I'm not gonna say that I heard anything special on this project. Like there wasn't really any specific track that got me out of my seat, but a lot of the tracks on here was solid. I think you could clearly tell a lot of these tracks weren't done in the same room by these two. It seemed to me like a lot of tracks were sent through a hard drive to one another, which in turn I thought disrupted the chemistry within some of the tracks. After listening to this project, I'm more on the side of if they just locked themselves in a studio or a room for that matter, and just knocked out a good 12 to 15 tracks, I think they could have came up with something a little bit better because that's what they were doing before they got larger than life, you know, and a lot of people will argue, me included, that that's when they created some of their best material. The downfall of a lot of these tracks, I would say, has a little bit to do with Offset not being here, but I think it has more to do with Quavo and Takeoff's talent in itself. And with Migos being together for all these years, I can tell they was still trying to knock the dust off in that regard of carrying an entire track with just the two of them. Like I said, they executed that well on some of the tracks on here, like the intro, what was it, See Bout It, Look at This. But on some tracks, they also fell short of keeping me intrigued throughout the entire thing because I thought it was missing something or someone. I think with it only being the two of them on this album, it exposed some of their flaws, if you know what I mean. Flaws that were hidden behind the third member because you were focusing on the trio instead of a smaller sample size duo. For example, like Quavo's rapping on here isn't that great, and it shows even more because Offset isn't here to shield that part of his game from us. Overall though, like I said, solid album from these two. The production was what I was expecting to hear on this project, but they did have some beats on here that I was impressed by. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I thought 18 tracks was a little too long because it got a little too repetitive towards the end of the track list. But you know, I've come to realize in this day and age that nobody's gonna cut their album down a couple more songs because everybody wants to make that extra money. You know, it's about streaming now. Everybody wants to put 20, 25 songs. This wasn't quite 20, but it was almost there. It was almost there, and I feel like that's too much for Migos. I don't give a fuck if it's just Quavo and Takeoff. I don't give a fuck if it's Offset, Takeoff. I don't care who it is. I don't need 18 tracks. Favorite songs: To Infinity Links, Hotel Lobby, See Bout It, Chocolate. Chocolate was crazy. Look at This was crazy. Nothing Changed. That's where I'm stopping. As always, let me know y'all thoughts in the comment box below. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. It's your boy Snoopy. I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm gone. Yee.